before we do that, just kind of
He's got a better setup than we do.
What'd you say?
He's got a better setup than we do.
Oh wow, yeah, he does. We are gonna do our second chance brackets because me and Josh both had poor brackets for March Madness right after the interview, as well as
March Madness.
Everyone had poor yeah, I guess so. As well as a live mock draft me and Josh will do after we fill out our brackets, which is after the interview. So, Josh, you could introduce our guest.
Joining us now, someone who has been, I can say I've been watching American Ninja Warrior for a long, long time. I found it way before it really blew up, but compared to this guy, I mean, he's really, really been watching it forever. He competed from seasons 1 to 11. And he won't say it, but I will. He got screwed out of being on this season. Welcome in Ryan Stratis.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? How you doing? Can y'all hear me on the mic?
Yep. You're good.
Audio's good. Awesome. What's up, y'all? Sorry, my green screen's I thought it would work. I didn't. I kind of just threw it up behind the laundry behind me. So gotta kind of go with a ghetto setup here. But thanks for the invite, guys. I'm excited to chat with y'all.
No, it's really cool. I've been watching the show forever, so I'm excited.
Nice. I definitely not been watching the show as long as Josh, but I have tuned in a few times, every season, the few times, the finals and all that. And I do, I know you're considered a legend in the sport, so
thanks,
that's
man.
Obviously a big honor.
Yeah, been on since like you said, very, very beginning of the seasons, way back in the day. Season 1 was 2009 was the first time. It's been a long time, and it's changed a lot over the years. And sadly, no callback this year. I'm still going to be applying future seasons, and I'll try to go out and test if they let me on to go test or whatnot. But we'll wait and see. They're filming this weekend. I think a lot of people are flying out.
Yeah, because it's one city this year, right?
Yeah, they're doing everything out in Tacoma right now for the city qualifying rounds. And then
so it's the same as last year, kind of, or is it different?
It's gonna be a little different. So they're not doing the brackets. So there's no bracketed format this time.
Good.
It's gonna be qualifying round, finals round, and then national finals where they go back to Las Vegas and have the big fourth stage.
I missed Vegas last year.
Yeah, a lot of people missed out on the old traditional 4-staged obstacle course.
Yeah.
All right. Yep. So, Ryan, you already kind of touched upon this, but can you really dive deep into your journey on how, we have a separate question for how you found American Ninja Warrior, but the journey of how kind of you as a ninja with all the obstacle courses, you growing up, can you talk about your journey to where you are right now?
Yeah, let's see. I think I first got interested in obstacle courses just from my days in junior ROTC in high school. I was not a athletic person whatsoever through my teenage years, and I seemed to excel at obstacle courses when I was in the military program in high school, and that led me into pursuing my career in the Army National Guard. And once I saw Ninja Warrior, that was right when I was graduating from my officer's training around, I think it was 2007. Was when I was graduating out of college there, and just fell in love with the show immediately, and was addicted to it ever since I first saw it. And that passion hasn't dwindled. It's changed a little bit over the years for sure, with how things are with NBC, and it's a lot more challenging to get on every season. But it's just been a passion of mine ever since I saw it, and it's just one of those things where you set a goal for yourself. And you kind of want to see it through no matter what you have to do. And this is what I've been working on for a long, long time now.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I will tell you how I found the show. But 7-year-old Josh was bored one day on just going through channels. And randomly he found this show on this network called G4 that he had never even heard of.
Yep.
Called American Ninja Warrior. And I just thought the name of the show sounded cool. I watched it, and then I was hooked from there.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine that's not exactly how you found it.
Well, I was just flipping channels. I was on late night studying on, like I said, I was still at my military school. and I just happened to. It was actually, I think it was like Sasuke 17. So that was the one that Nagano happened to beat.
Oh, yeah.
So the first one I saw was when somebody beat it, and then the following episodes were just everybody falling. I was like, holy crap, I'm addicted.
Yep.
And it had me hooked ever since then.
You're someone that seems to know this. You might know this. Where can I find the old Ninja Warrior episodes? Because I can't find them anywhere.
YouTube, man. You can only really dig through YouTube, and it's even hard then. They don't sell them anywhere that I know of. You can maybe dig through the old forums on the Sasukepedia. If you ever go on the Sasukepedia website,
right?
They are cataloging all sorts of things on that webpage. So I'm sure you might be able to find somebody that has them saved somewhere.
Okay, I've been looking because I've seen a couple tournaments, but not as like I've seen all the American Ninja Warrior. I've seen all that whole thing, but I've watched a good amount of the Japanese stuff though too.
Yeah, I think they're on to like Sasuke 36. I think
something like that.
Yeah, they're in the 30s, high 30s right now. I believe it's been going on for a long time. Yeah. But with G4 is coming back, and hopefully they'll take some of those episodes and edit them and bring them back. But who knows?
And a quick question. So follow up. So you said you were kind of just flipping through channels. So kind of just randomly just happened to fall up on it. Did it ever like cross your you're a legend in Ninja Warrior now? Right. Did it ever could you ever imagine getting to that point when you were just flipping through channels and finding that?
Definitely not. I thought I had like a very finite shelf life of being a competitor on the show. That lasted much longer than I expected it to. But I thought I was only going to get maybe 1, 2, or 3 tries. So each time I would compete, I would have that kind of nagging sense of dread, like, well, this might be my last chance. And thankfully, after I did really well in season 3, I knew that, well, if I perform well enough, I might be able to get on each time over and over again. But the story is a huge portion of it now. And you got to have a good story to make sure you're going to be able to get casted for it. That's the trick nowadays.
That's the this is not part of our questions, but now I want to ask because you brought up season 3, and they had because people don't realize when this show started, and actually it does kind of get into the growth of this show. There were 100 people who competed in the first couple of years? Not even. It was not much.
Well,
especially nowadays.
Well, if you looked back at it, they did 2 days worth of qualifying, and each day they try to get through 200 something people.
Okay.
So we still had a decent amount of competitors trying to get on there, but they whittled those down really quick.
Yeah, now we got thousands.
Yeah.
City.
Yeah, it's a lot. They were in I want to say they have at least 80,000 people apply each year is what they always throw that number around there. It's a lot. So it's hard to stand out in the crowd.
So one of the things they used to do in the first 3 seasons, because before they went to Vegas, they went to Japan and all that. One thing I thought about, and before they announced what they were going to do for last year, I thought that maybe something similar to the boot camp thing might be. Can you imagine Ninja Warrior boot camp nowadays?
It'd be neat. It'd be really cool. If people that don't know what that was, they took 15 of us from the semifinals, and then they would whittle it down to just 10. Every day we'd lose a teammate. If you didn't perform your best, you'd get the cut. Yeah, it was nuts.
I can imagine just seeing because there's so much more than 15 now that are capable of winning the whole thing.
Right.
I'd be excited to see what kind of obstacles they'd come up with in the boot camp today.
Yeah, because they used to just steal from Japan.
That's right. Yeah.
So, just the growth of the show. Can you talk about what from a fan, it's been crazy. What has it been like for you watching the sport as a competitor?
Yeah, as a fan and a competitor, it's definitely a unique perspective, I guess, I bring to the table. Because you see it where we started it from back in the day. It was kind of like a grassroots effort to make sure people knew what it was and knew it was distinguished from the other crazy obstacle course shows out there.
It's not Wipeout.
Not Wipeout. Everybody, that's all they would say is oh, you're going Wipeout. It's oh, nope, something else. So it was hard to, keep that mentality and move forward. And finally, it broke through. I want to say season 6 is when
that was
really
Casey.
got popular. Yeah,
Casey is the reason I think that this show got huge.
She definitely got a lot more eyes on the show. Really went viral. Being the first woman up the warp wall and doing really well that season. That kind of helped build a lot of momentum with the show, and it's just continued to maintain steam and charge ahead ever since.
Oh yeah, because I would think if it's just the women on the show have gotten better and better and better, and it was like we went from barely even seeing women on the show to then seeing maybe one or two get far, and now there are multiple that have the capability going far, like really far, and are really good now, and that's been really cool to see. Yeah. Where they've gone from, I mean, barely to compete to no, these guys are legit.
Yeah, it just shows how much people have been able to adapt over the years and keep getting better as athletes, and it's always cool to see that it's a pretty much even playing field. So guys and girls on the same team, same goal in sight. It's pretty unique.
Absolutely. All right, Michael.
Yep. All right. Okay. So we're moving on to our next question here with Ryan Stratis, who is one of the American Ninja Warrior, legends. So you're one of the better to do it. So as someone who has gone through it and has experience with American Ninja Warrior, done it for a while, what is the favorite city that you have competed in? Your favorite city?
Oof. That's a tough one, man. I competed in Atlanta. That was my home state. So that was really, really cool. Had a lot of friends there. That was a real emotional time. But I guess you can't beat LA. That's kind of where it all started.
That's the original.
Yeah. So competing out there has always been really fun. And you have a lot of memories of traveling up to where David Campbell's backyard course was, training with those guys the week of competing, and then taking a huge road trip down. Like season 3 was amazing. Seasons 1, 2, and 3 were they kind of helped set the standard for what those ninja trips would be like. Miami was always fun. That was down the southeast regions. So yeah, if it'd probably be top 3, it would be LA, Miami, and Atlanta.
David Campbell strikes me as the guy that's like out of the real OGs. David Campbell's going to compete for the next 20 years.
Yeah, he's
just never going to stop.
He ain't stopping, man.
He's not. They have to drag him off the course. Like, he's never stopping.
Yeah, it's good to see they got his backyard course built up again at a new location. So he's working on that new backyard, and he's got I think he's got some. I don't know how far he is from that Traverse Fitness location. That's Sean Bryant's gym. Really, really fancy looking indoor facility he's got.
Sean Bryant?
Yeah. Sean Bryant is out in somewhere in Northern California or maybe the LA region. I'm not too sure on that one, but somewhere on the West Coast.
Right. Okay. So we also kind of touched this a little bit earlier, but the show versus Sasuke, the Japanese version, the original version, over the years as the show first started, it was literally just to go to Japan, try to be there, and then it evolved into, no, this is our own thing.
Right.
What do you think the differences are? I don't know if you even still watch Japanese show, but what would you say the differences are between the two now?
I still watch Sasuke whenever it comes on for the year.
Right.
So I try to stay current with all the new obstacles they come up with. The main differences would be just the difficulty of stage 3. Like stage 3 in Japan is still like light years beyond what we have here in the States. But then our courses in the stages 1 and 2 tend to be a little more difficult leading up to that. And in Japan, their stages 1 and 2 seem to be a little more doable in certain aspects, but I think the A&W has a little more fleshed out selection process for the finals. I know in Sasuke they go with their old favorites. They'll pick the same people a lot based on their performances from the previous season. Yeah. But that's something I wish A&W would kind of lean towards.
Me too.
Based off of your last season, give you a little bit of credit there, but not so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Michael.
Yeah. All right. So we talked about your favorite city. And you obviously have a lot of experience with not just cities but the obstacles. What is your favorite obstacle that you've competed on?
Multiple times would have to be the jumping spider. That's the one you have to hit the
I like
trampoline
that one.
and stick in the hallway. Even though I fell on it in season 5, it's still one of my favorite ones. It's such a
Yeah.
very like iconic obstacle that it can catch anybody off guard.
Yep.
And it's still just it's a whole lot of fun to do, just to fly through the air and then boink, stop on a dime. It's
Yeah.
such
Not
a,
easy.
no, yeah, it's such a cool, and it's such a, like, I don't know, it's iconic to the show. It's not all these like swinging huge laches you see people needing to do now, crazy taking bars and stuff with you. It's very simple, but still challenging, and that's what I appreciate about it.
Yeah, that's one of the iconic ones. I was thinking that you were gonna say probably something like that.
An obstacle that also is kind of iconic, and I've been thinking about this for a while. The warp wall. Nowadays, because that obstacle used to be the killer, and now it almost seems like almost a joke. I mean, they get it so easily now.
Yeah.
Why don't they? I have two
Now
questions.
it's almost a guarantee.
Yeah, it's like a victory lap.
It is. So I have two questions about two things that I've thought of that maybe they can change with. One is the easy one is just why is it still 3 tries? If you can't get it in 1 try, I think that should be it.
Okay. I think they still want to see people hit the buzzer. It's a TV show after all.
That's true.
They want people on top of the walls. I know the new rule this year was if you do the mega wall, you get 1 shot, and then you move down to the small wall and you get 2 shots. So you still get like 3 total.
Right.
That's the only change they did for the walls this year. Still 14 and a half is what I'm assuming.
That was better than 15.
They might bump it up. It's very rare for people to slip up there at this point in time because there's warp walls everywhere now. If you're a ninja gym, 90% of ninja gyms will have to have a warp wall to be considered a decent ninja gym nowadays.
True.
Yeah.
Standard.
Definitely.
That and the salmon line.
Yeah.
All right.
What about you guys? What was your favorite obstacles?
I've always liked the cliffhanger. Same type of reason as you.
Yep.
Same exact thing. I love the cliffhanger. I think it's simple and it can take anyone out.
Yep.
And like I said, they keep changing it up. They change it up so it's
a lot of variety.
Can take people out. And then out of like those non like classic obstacles, I never understood what they took out. Remember the wedge from like a few years ago? That might be my favorite. I loved that.
You like that thing, man?
Yeah.
That was brutal, it was tricky, man. That was one that was a tough one.
So I personally am not like Josh is like considered a ninja. You obviously consider a ninja. I'm not really as much into the whole ninja thing.
Gotcha.
But the obstacle that you got the classic the spinning not the monkey bars but the ones that spin I'm blanking on the name. You know what I'm talking about? How you hang on it and they spin and you got to go on to the next one.
The doorknobs?
No.
Putting you on the
it's
spot,
like a spinning. No.
You're good, man. I'm sure the same thing would happen to me if you asked me who my favorite football team was.
Well, you're from
Georgia.
I know.
Fan?
Probably Falcons, yeah. But all good.
Yeah. Well, look, my favorite one to watch is the one where you go on like the wall with like the pegs and you got to put those in.
Pegboard?
That was what?
Gotcha.
One
of the pegboards.
Pegboard, yeah, the pegboard. Yeah. That's my favorite thing to watch. I personally could not hold myself.
Not easy. I tried those. Those are not easy. They look easier than they are.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've tried. They don't work. So
they don't work.
For me, they don't work. Yeah. So that's always the hard ones are the ones that obviously we all enjoy watching because that kind of really proves, I guess your range, your limit, right?
Yeah, it's tough to gauge just from watching on TV. Like, okay, that doesn't look too bad. It's like even from a distance when you're there, getting ready to run the course, you'll see testers running the obstacles and seeing how they move based on somebody's body weight or height. thinking is like, okay, that one's not so bad. Maybe, and that kind of goes into your game plan before you run the course. But when you're up there and you're looking down the pipe, it's a whole different angle, and can definitely be more intimidating when you're up there.
My next question here. So we just talked about the favorite obstacles and talk about the hard obstacles. What, in your opinion, is the number one hardest obstacle?
Oh, hardest, most difficult obstacle. Oh man, that's tough. Like, I would always say just the mental aspect of competing, but that's kind of a cop-out answer.
It's true though.
But the mental, because you only have that one chance. So having to be able to perform under pressure and still be out there and remain relaxed, stick to your game plan. Just the overall pressure of having that one chance is probably one of the hardest obstacles to deal with mentally. Physically, it's going to be a toss-up between some sketchy balance obstacle.
That was what I knew you were going to say.
Yeah, it was going to be a sketchy balance or anything like grip related. And it's very like competitor dependent too. So for me, anything that's like
for sure.
Explosive moves or super tiny ledges, those kind of things, I still need it to improve upon. Yeah. No.
The balance obstacles can take anyone out at any time.
Yeah. Those things, horrible. Not fun. Very few obstacles, very few balance ones are fun to just sprint across and be fine. But if you mess up anywhere, it's just injury prone.
Right. You miss one step. You don't go down the straight line, and you. That's it. You're You're done. Yeah.
Very hard to salvage.
Absolutely.
Michael doesn't realize what I realize.
What'd you say?
What's that?
Oh, you might not even. Okay, now I feel bad for bringing it up. I thought you were gonna say balance because I know every year you bring up balance because I know one year you fell on it.
Oh,
and Michael said going right in the center.
Yeah.
And I felt like, no, he doesn't know.
I went down on a simple one. It was called the bungee bridge, where it was like a bunch of bungee straps, and the further you went down it, the less and less there were to step on. And I was like, okay, I'll just walk right down the middle. This shouldn't be too bad. And my toe got caught in one, and boop, face planted. That was all she wrote. That was.
I'm sorry.
No, man, that's all good. That's how we gotta be able to move on from those things. That was way back in the day, and that was season 4.
That was the first season I watched.
Oh man,
yeah,
you got a bad introduction to.
Yeah.
And then my next introduction to you was you with your faces just going up in Miami, and I'm like, oh, I like this guy.
I was going crazy then. That was my comeback year. I had to bounce back after that one.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, season 5. Yep.
And another thing that I love about this sport is, and as on our show, we cover the sports, and this is the one thing, and I think it also has something to do with the fact that as a fan, there's no real reason if I train hard enough that I can't go on. If I have the right video, it all comes down to having the right submission video and the right this, and and you're good enough, they will let you on. I think that also has to do with it. But the community that's built over the years is so cool.
Right. Yeah.
It's really, really unique.
It's very cool that the people you see on TV, are at local gyms, at local competitions. Yeah. We're all just normal people and very easy to get along with and communicate with. So, and it's accessible to everybody. Like you see the youth and all of the youth competitions and the ninja leagues that are happening in all these different gyms. It's definitely made the show grow even more, having a rabid fan base that it does have.
And I think my generation, I mean, I'm obviously younger than a couple of these guys, but watching guys like Kid Awadi, Daniel Gill, guys like that come up who've just been watching for years, it's waiting to be old enough. Mm-hmm. And like, I always, the one thing, because when I was like 8, 9, 10, I was really I was doing it every day. I was in on it, and I was really pretty good. And then 11 to 13, I kind of I still watched it, but I wasn't always into it. And now I'm starting to try and get back into it. Mm-hmm. But I see a guy like Vance Walker, who is he? I'm like, that could have been me, man. Like that really could have. Really was isn't he competing this year?
He got the call. Yeah, he's one of the 30-something teenagers that were selected, that were handpicked, and he was one of my students back
Yeah.
in the day. He was one of my first students back at
Oh
Ninja
man,
Quest in Atlanta. So he's been training
Oh,
hard since he was
wow.
about 9. I
he's
want to say.
good.
Yeah,
Wow.
he's super strong. So it's going to be exciting to watch these teens that got picked this year and see how they perform.
Yeah.
Some of them have been tested before. They were already on the A&W Junior show.
Yeah.
A few others were just hand selected from either community recommendations, or they saw the kind of stuff they were already doing in the gyms that they were training at.
The producers are, I'm sure the producers kind of just like go in because they have, I'm sure I would assume you're one of those guys. It's asking you guys because they know you guys know all these people. And you know who's good, you know who's coming up, you know who's like. So actually here, I'm going to ask you this. I know Vance Walker. Is there another kid like that you know is a guy to watch out for?
Oh man, yeah, Caden Lebsack out of Colorado.
Oh,
yeah, Caden's awesome, super powerful, big moves. Max Feinberg, he's gonna be a fun one to watch. He was on A&W Junior. Man, I have to look more at the list of who else got selected. Yeah, for the young divisions anyway. There was like 30 of them. I gotta go get. Right. I gotta go look more into into which ones I gotta watch out for in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, those 3 come to mind. Yeah.
All
right. One more add-on question here about these fans. When you're doing the run, when you're actually going through the course,
okay,
how, I guess, important is that fan presence that's cheering you on, that's actually there in person, not the ones necessarily watching on TV, but the friends, family, and just overall, how is that, how does that help or hurt, you?
Also gotten bigger over the years.
The energy is definitely helps when you're out there, because there were times when I'm hanging from an obstacle and I make a grab that nobody else has gotten to in a certain point, then I hear everybody just explode, and I'm just like, I got a whole bunch more energy now. so it just really helps having your friends and family and just complete strangers just cheering their heads off for you. Man, yeah, that time in Atlanta where people just screaming craziness for me all the way into the further portion of the course. I was one of the first people to make it to a certain point before anybody else that night, and you feed off of that energy. So it's pretty fun having a live crowd there. I didn't compete in season 12 when they took the crowds away due to COVID, and that's how it's going to be again for season 13, at least for the qualifying and city finals. It's all just virtual audiences with the Zoom calls going on in the backgrounds. Not sure how it's going to be for Las Vegas, but definitely.
How do you think that's going to affect the runners or the athletes that are competing?
What's that? Oh, yeah. Without the live audience there, definitely feels weird. I did test last year for the qualifying round, just very briefly. Got to run the course. That's usually what they do. They'll have people that aren't competing test the obstacles, try to do full course runs. I got to test last year with no audience there. Just very weird. So not as exciting. Feels a lot different than a typical competition. Almost like you're at a local gym competition, which some people might perform better that way, but others need to have that kind of, all right, you got cameras, you got lights, you got the audience, everybody's cheering at you. It's go time. This is what you train for all year long. So having the crowd there, I think, is definitely much more beneficial for these athletes.
One thing I think that's really underrated is a really challenging problem. I've always thought this is the lights, because I can imagine sometimes they shine right in your eyes.
Yep,
is that true? Because I've always wondered that.
You have to, man, especially at night, because I have the course so well lit now. It's you got to find the ways to work around the lighting and just pinpoint your grabs. Luckily, everything's well lit, But if you're swinging and grabbing on something that's like a split-second decision, sometimes that could come into play. Yeah.
Ooh, that reminds me that we had like a thing that came out today, split decision, and I was going to ask you about this.
Oh,
Did you hear
yeah.
about what this is?
Oh, yeah.
I did see that.
I'm intrigued on this. Like, I feel like this is either going to be really, really cool if it's executed the right way. I didn't read too much on it. Do you know, like, I know it's like a thing where the competitors get to choose what they're doing.
Yep.
So yeah, what is it?
Qualifying round, they'll have the course to run at 6 obstacles, but in the place of balance, they'll have 2 choices. So qualifying round, they'll have to choose either one or the other for the balance obstacle. And then in the city finals, they'll have the 10 obstacle course to run, and in the 9th position is typically the difficult upper body obstacle.
That's the killer.
But they'll have a difficult balance obstacle to choose from if you want to go that route. So if you're feeling
we have a balance at number 9.
Yeah.
Oh, that's gonna be.
So that could be interesting if you're really pumped out. And a lot of people fall on obstacle 9, just not being able to be strong enough to get all the way through. They might need to take it to a balance obstacle.
But as we talked about before, those balance can take anyone out at any time. So that's why it's. That's really. Are they? Do we know if they are or not doing anything for Vegas, or if it's?
I haven't heard anything or seen any updates. I usually just get all the info now from the A&W Nation.
Yeah, same.
That website's doing pretty good at putting out that kind of stuff. So we'll see what they decide. Vegas is still a good ways away now. I think they film in mid-May, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, a little time still.
Definitely.
And next time they film in Baltimore, I'm going to know that they're filming in Baltimore, like, because in season 5, I didn't even know they were doing it in Baltimore. And the last time I did it in Baltimore, I found out, like, the only reason why I even found out is because as big football fan, it was the NFL draft, and the Ravens have this NFL draft party every year, and we were out there, and it's in the Inner Harbor, and it's like a big celebration for the NFL draft. And I look over and I just see, oh, I can't see it. It was great. That's Graham McCartney right there.
He's hanging out.
Over. And then, there were a couple other people there too, and it was just like, I look over. There's a course. They're filming in Baltimore. So next time they do this in Baltimore, I'm gonna find out because I want to go watch.
You need to go watch, man. Yeah, watching live is a whole lot of fun.
Yeah,
definitely. Before we go to our next question, you currently are streaming like us on Twitch. So can you kind of just like talk about that? How did you get into that? You're gaming, and then you're also I was checking out your Twitch channel, and you're also, I know a few days ago you were kind of I guess commentating on kids or people running through obstacles. Can you kind of talk about that?
Well, I've always been a gamer. I've always enjoyed playing video games since a young age, and played games all through college, pretty much all the way through. And it's just a way to decompress and relax, and just play online games with my friends across the country, and still game today. Yeah, it's super fun way to keep up with everybody. So always been a gamer. And then when all the live streaming stuff started coming around, I think it was when the Xbox One had it as part of the Xbox. That's when I first started to dabble in it a little bit, but didn't really start trying to pick up the Twitch stuff until I had like my own computer and I can get a lot better setup to do it. So I'm not as consistent as I need to be to really gain a huge following, but I'm trying to build that consistency. There's a few other ninjas that stream. You got Flip Rodriguez. He's big on Twitch. He plays a lot of Fortnite. Not my cup of tea. Ethan Swanson, he streams real regularly. So
that does not surprise me.
Ethan's all about some Terraria. I'm a variety gamer. I like a lot of different things. But what I've also been doing is I'll rewatch the National Ninja League competitions from their live streams, and then I'll usually commentate their runs either on my Twitch channel, or if I'm fortunate enough, they'll book me as a on-site play-by-play and I'll provide the commentary
So
for
you
their.
are allowed to do that. I was something I was going to ask you. I wasn't sure I was going to ask you on air or not, but just like you can for like National Ninja Leagues. I was thinking about doing it for like the World Championships. I was thinking about like going live and just like would I be allowed to like literally share my screen and show it and do it, or would I not be able to show it?
I don't think they have any kind of restrictions against
Okay.
people from doing that. I know typically Worlds they will have somebody already commentating,
Right.
and I don't think there's like a buy-in for it. I think that's really the only thing that makes it like
Yeah.
no
So it's not like
no-go.
other professional sports where it's not no
Where
copyright.
it's like because like we do like NFL and NBA games, and but we can't show the game because
I
they'll
see.
take us down.
That's
copyright, right?
Good question. I'll have to do some more research into that regard. But most of the time, I just pull up the live stream videos from like the past weekend.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That's
Oh, so you do it after it already ends, or?
I do, because it's just too much to try to keep up with live. It's like some events are on time. Sometimes there's like obstacle malfunctions. So usually I'll find the stream after it's ended. Be a couple days later, and then I can just click through past people I might not recognize if I'm looking for somebody specific I want to commentate for, or if I just want to watch a few runs and then look to see somebody else's course design. That's usually what I like to do with the commentating stuff.
That I don't think is illegal. Like Josh, if we pull up like a game on like NFL Game Pass that already happened, like
we can do that. I know we can do
past,
that.
Right,
past
right.
tense.
But live, it would be. I think it'd be illegal to show that.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll figure that out.
Gotta support them.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's another thing.
All right. Yeah. So your warm up process for these obstacles, and this is warm up as in Josh. Do we mean like right before his right before he goes, or like preparation? Is this or
it was your question? I don't remember.
No, it wasn't a question. Okay, here. So let's combine it then. Here, can you talk about your warm up, your preparation for the competition, and then go into what do you do, kind of your warm up before you run?
Okay, so like. I guess it all depends on how far back we're talking for mental prep, because you always want to try to be mentally preparing for the season.
Sure. Okay.
I'd say if we talk about like the week of competing, I usually take that week to just do light training, nothing too crazy. I'm not going to progress past my 1 rep max on anything or max amount of pull-ups in 1 week. So that's pretty much just fine tuning up until the day I have to fly out. And then when I'm like on site, we get maybe a 2-day grace period of doing like your interviews, your medical, your wardrobe checks, all that stuff. They do that for about a day or two, and then you'll compete on your 3rd day typically. So by that 3rd day, we already know what the course is because we'll see it being built. And that's when I try to mentally prepare for what I plan to do on the course. I'll try to jot my approach down in shorthand, just to try to map out my steps. Like, all right, well, quad steps. I want to go left, right, jump. Or, all right, jumping spider, 3-step takeoff, 2 feet on trampoline, launch, open up same time. Like real shorthand type of thought processes in order to know what I need to do when I'm out there. As simple as I can make it. That way, like when I'm there, it's like I can just recite it and I can get my brain to remind my body what the heck I want it to do.
Yeah, I'm gonna straight up steal a question here.
Sure.
They build it the day of.
It's building about 2 weeks out.
Okay. I'm about to say. I thought you were saying that. I was okay.
No, they don't go that much.
Sense.
Yeah. We'll see them. They'll lay out the truss. They'll lay out obstacles, and we don't know what's going where. But as it gets closer to the day of filming, things will start to take shape. And usually we only have maybe 3 days of knowing exactly what's going to be used and how it's going to work. Because they usually make last minute alterations based on the testing phase. If a lot of people are failing it or too many people are passing it, they might make things more difficult or more doable. So yeah.
So we are currently live. So that's the question came from someone that just commented.
I see that. What's up, chat? What's going on, Twitch?
So yeah, chat's a bit less active today than they usually are.
Because we've been ignoring it the whole stream.
Well, we haven't been, but yeah, well, I just feel like maybe they're just watching. There's not too many questions to ask, but I want to steal this question here, but I want to kind of change it up a little. And the question I want to ask is, how important is it to not be scared to fall off things?
Yeah.
Fall, or not be or kind of be focused on getting it done, not falling, not trying to prevent falling it off. How
no, that's a great question, because you can't be scared to fail, because if you fall, you're failing. So you can't be afraid of failure, and that lesson can be brought across the board for like any kind of sport. Just except with ninja, it's not like you get 3 strikes and you're out. It's like you get one and done. So that's where the fear factor really comes into play. Besides that, it's some of those obstacles are like really high up in the air, so it does get your adrenaline pumping, and you gotta just focus on what's in front of you. Like the Double Dipper in Las Vegas, that one's scary. Because you're like a good 20 feet off the ground, even before starting, and then you're flying through those 2 tracks, and you're just airborne that entire time. It's real nerve-wracking, but when it's time to go, you just got to focus on the end goal and the mission at hand. But yeah, got to be able to put that fear aside. I always say you got to make those butterflies in your stomach fly in formation. So that's the goal.
Yeah. Okay. I want to know this. We put Michael on the spot. Let's put you on the spot. What's your March Madness pick?
No, I don't know anything about March Madness of basketball. I'm horrible. I don't. March Madness, that's college basketball, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's college.
So that shows how much I know. I don't know. Is it how many even teams are there?
Well, there were 68. There were 68, and now it's only 16. Yeah, they've cut it down the last.
Sorry, guys. Yeah, I don't know anything about basketball.
All right. I'll tell you the favorite, and my pick is my pick for who's left. Spoiler for the next part of our show, but I did already say it on the TikTok, so I might as well.
Yeah, you did.
I have the Gonzaga Bulldogs. So
yeah,
they're the favorite to win.
Nice.
They were my pick at the beginning of the tournament, so I might as well keep them. They're still in. Josh's pick, Illinois, the Fighting Illini.
Gone.
They're gone. Yeah, they got eliminated by Loyola Chicago. I mean, they're, that's something no one really.
And the team I had them beating also gone in round 1.
Yeah, that was Texas being upset. And the team I had Gonzaga beating in the national championship got upset in round 1. They were the 2 seed in their region. They got upset by Ohio State. It's a big school, Ohio State. They got upset by Oral Roberts University. I mean,
twice. And then they beat Florida the next day.
And then Oral Roberts beat the University of Florida the next day after that. So the point is, March Madness. I think everyone that might get into it would like it. But regardless, back to American Ninja Warrior. Josh, your question's up next.
Yeah, I can imagine you have so many of these. But
oh yeah,
what is if you could pick one, your favorite story that you could think of that you just over the years?
Man, favorite, dude. I want to say, probably it was to get a photograph with Makoto Nagano.
Oh my god!
When he was in Las Vegas. If you don't know who that is, he's like pretty much the Wayne Gretzky, Michael Jordan of Ninja Warrior in Japan, like one of the most famous competitors from Japan.
So the GOAT.
In my book, he is still. I would still call him the GOAT in my book.
Yeah, one of the stronger competitors out there from back in the day. Was in the Las Vegas area watching the season 4 finale, and we were able to hang out with him briefly, but we didn't get a chance to take a photo with him. And we were being ushered off set. They were trying to kick us off set, and I was hiding along a fence line, waiting for him to come back from wherever he left. He was supposed to come back, and my other buddy was still on set after they told us already to leave, and he was hiding out in like a porta potty. And so I had him on the phone. I was like, all right, he's coming in. He's coming in the fence. He's coming in the fence. He's like, now's your chance. So he
For the military
left.
experience helped that.
Yeah, I was the recon guy.
Man,
So he jumped out the porta john after he saw that he was back in and was able to get a photo with him before he got kicked off set entirely. Yeah, that was that's always a funny one. But yeah, a lot of fun stories, man.
Does he speak
Great,
English?
great memories.
Nagano?
A little bit, but
bit.
you know, about as much Japanese as I know. He probably knows a little more than me conversationals, but a lot of body language was easy to like when we're talking like how to do the salmon ladder or jumping spider, like that kind of stuff translates across the board internationally.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, there's like a language, American Ninja Warrior language. Like some people, well, I mean, the sports kind of have, you don't even know what you're saying. Like I might talk to my friend about football and I might just like continuously talk and not stop talking like really fast for like a full minute.
Yep.
And, people don't even know if I'm speaking English at that point. So I'd imagine it's something similar for you, but you kind of just mentioned how people already like know what you're saying and you can kind of communicate like that. So that's pretty cool.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So this is the last question we got here. And this is to Michael, but we'll kind of rephrase it as
Michael, by the way.
As a sport, not as like, because we all know it's a TV show,
Right.
but I'm trying to get people to realize that it is a sport. So kind of, I guess you say, make your pitch as this show as more than just a TV show on NBC,
Well, not just that. The reason they said Michael is because I am an average American Ninja Warrior fan. Like I've watched American Ninja Warrior, but not even as much as maybe I want to, or as much Josh, or as much as a big fan of American Ninja Warrior would. So I'm an average American Ninja Warrior fan. So sell American Ninja Warrior to kind of average fan like me and explain how it's not just a TV show; it's a sport.
Okay. If you want to see it as a sport, I would say you have to look beyond what the TV show brings to the table, because it is more about the story and what those people have to go through in order to get onto the show. So most people get turned off from the athletic side because there's so much drama involved. There'll be like a 5-minute story before you even get to 1 minute of action. So that the huge drawback for the show for at least most sports fans. If you want to see, the athletic achievements that are going to be happening throughout the country, definitely tune into all the different gym leagues that are happening, and it's going to be growing more and more around the country as things continue to develop.
That's just getting started.
Because it takes away the story aspect, which stories are great, and it does bring a lot of motivation to people of all walks of life. But if you want to take the average Joe and see what they can do, follow along throughout the seasons. Like National Ninja League's been going on for probably about 6 or 7 months now, before their finals that are happening later this summer. You'll have some crazy obstacles and athletes from a wide range of age ranges. So that's pretty much where it's at for the sports side of things. It's going to be growing more. They're trying to get it into the Olympics.
Yeah, I've heard that.
I think it should be more along the lines of like the X Games. But everybody's got their own.
Rock climbing's in.
Rock climbing's in there. I think it would be more.
Wow.
Who's this guy? We'll talk to some of the chat here. I see some people asking, saying, "Are we scripted?" No, we're not scripted. They've got questions they're asking me that we're kind of.
I think he's asking the show. No, the show isn't scripted.
Oh, the show? No. What I meant by the story was
right.
Yeah, you can't script that.
So it's
the
not
stories.
like WWE?
No, they don't say like, all right, this guy.
I didn't think it was, but
this guy's gonna fall on this obstacle. No, it's nothing like that.
It's not even a thing you could do either.
I mean, you can't.
Because imagine if someone falls when they're supposed to get through, like it just wouldn't work.
Yeah.
So then they cut that off. They cut that out, and then they take it again.
Too many
take a long time.
Too many variables.
Yeah.
Here. So this is a question I don't know too much about. We might as well go to a few questions from the chat. Maybe the chat, if you guys could start asking a few questions, we can go through a few of them. But
sure.
This one, for example, kind of what, like kind of the level, the last level of the finals. I was not watching Um, I've
Gotcha.
not been watching for like a few seasons now, but the new I know they've keep expanding.
Hmm.
So can you kind of tell us your thoughts about that?
I don't
Uh,
remember the ring.
I want to say that
I
he
don't.
might be
I don't
he
know
might
if
be
they
talking
have.
about the invisible ladder one,
They need
maybe.
to bring that obstacle back. By the way,
That one's tough. That one's real tough. That took me out in season 7.
that thing is that
Um,
might be like the most underrated hard obstacle I think they've ever had.
that one's pretty tough. Yeah. So every final obstacle for the city finals has been pretty challenging, minus the spider hallway going to the top, or the ones with the trap doors. Now
Yeah,
those
I don't understand why they put that in there. It doesn't seem like
slow you down. It's not that exciting in comparison to like a real pumpy upper body obstacle. But that last obstacle should be challenging, but not too terribly challenging. Those invisible ladders were really, really rough.
By the way, yes, we know about this.
Oh yeah, Joe Flacco went to the
I
Eagles,
know,
former
that's your guy,
Ravens
Michael.
quarterback. Yeah, former Ravens quarterback. I have him up on my wall. He's like my favorite athlete ever. He just signed with the Eagles. I have him up on my wall. I have a bobblehead of him over there. I've got another poster of him up there. So, um, yeah, I Joe Flacco. That's interesting. We'll get into that right after the interview.
Yeah.
So let's go to another question here. This is a good question right here. How many countries have you? How many countries have you competed at?
Just Japan and Malaysia. Those are the only two.
Other than the U.S., right? Okay.
Correct.
Malaysia
So,
has Malaysia. It's was
Mal-
that like
Malaysia was more of a challenge. So they set up like 3 different stations. One was like a spider hallway into 2 warp walls. Another one was like a weighted barrel toss with 3 of the wall lifts for like strength and strength and power.
years ago?
This was probably about 7 years ago. Yeah. And then the third station was all like upper body, like cliffhangers, unstable bridges, doorknob graspers. So it was like a challenge race against other competitors. You just try to do those 3 obstacles as fast as you could. And they had a bunch of Americans go out there and give it a try. Anybody could have signed up for it, and we were able to go out there and do it. It was a lot of fun. It's probably one of my favorite ninja experiences.
Yeah, it's
Absolutely.
been
Besides
great.
Japan.
That's the other thing is the way the show has grown internationally. I mean, it went from Japan to America to, I mean, every country either probably has or has had like. It's Europe it's huge there, right?
It's I think UK had it for a while. Germany's got it. Poland's got it. Man, who else is Australia's got it? They're on like season 4 of Australia right now. I think
is big.
a lot of.
I
Different
always tell
countries are
myself I
making
want to
their
get
own
into the international ones. I just never wind up like doing it. But I always tell myself.
By the way, to the person that commented this right now, I appreciate the profile picture. They changed it to me, which is
Wait a minute.
That is me. We'll take one more question here from Max. Traveling all the time, commonly. Do you? Well, I don't think you probably don't get tired of it because you obviously love the thrill of competing. But do you kind of feel it gets somewhat repetitive traveling so much? And how do you think about it?
It does wear me out. Anytime you leave your normal schedule and have to either drive or fly, especially now with all the extra precautions that we need to take to stay safe with pandemic stuff going on still. Little less extra risky nowadays. So yeah, it does get tiring. It's still really fun, but I need a few days to recover for sure based on where I'm coming from. Yeah.
And this was the question I wanted to ask you before you left. So,
hey, who's going to go the furthest this year? Man, Andy's a big fan. Thanks for the question, man. Man, who do I think? Of course, Daniel. He's a good choice. He's the one that won last year, Daniel Gill, and climbed the tower, but didn't climb it all the way in season 11.
I'm going Joe Moravsky. He's got
Joe. You're pulling for Joe.
Weatherman.
Okay.
One of these times he's winning this whole thing. He has been he's my pick. I don't know necessarily about winning this year, but in terms of my pick to win total victory, the next guy.
Yeah.
Because he's been so close for so long.
Yeah, he's
always been one of my favorites. It's one of those things where there's no rivalries
Right.
real rivalries in this show. So it's not like I root against anybody, but there are certain people that are like, you really want to see them do it. Joe's one of those guys for me. Like, he's so
Gotcha.
close.
Yeah, I'd say my other choice to go the furthest would be Brett Sims, if he can just pull it together in Vegas. That's my bearded buddy, the one we usually have the beard battle against. He has hard time,
isn't he?
Yeah, he's been doing it longer than I have, but he usually gets hung up in the first stage in Vegas. So if he can get through there, I think he's a clear shot all the way through.
Baltimore guy. Yes.
Hey,
Jeff
old Jeff, yeah.
And he was right here under the gym I used. Unfortunately, closed down Alternate Routes, but that was when I went. It was the gym. That was the gym he trained at. So I saw him all the time, and it was like I
saw him a lot.
realized I just kept watching. Like, this guy's shit, like shit.
Yeah,
and then one of those times he just broke through and he won the whole thing.
I think it only took him two times.
Yeah, something like that. It was crazy.
Yeah, he got on his second time. That's insane.
He was a camera guy for the Orioles too, so it was cool to see that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
All right, Ryan. Really appreciate this. Thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, guys,
with us. This is really cool. Maybe we could do it again sometime in the future. We'll see. Who knows? We'll see where we end up. Where we end up. All right.
This is a cool setup, guys. I appreciate you having me on. Anybody in the chat wants to find me on? Can I do a shout out for my Twitch page?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, go plug it in. Yeah.
I'm actually doing a 24-hour stream this weekend, starting Friday morning into Saturday morning because it's my birthday weekend.
Oh,
so
happy early birthday!
Thank you. I'll be 38, so come hang out over on Shots by Strat. That's my Twitch page, and I'll be gaming it up a lot and probably doing some more commentary for National Ninja League runs from the previous few weekends. So that's pretty much what I got planned. But yeah, guys, appreciate the time and great interview style. I like y'all's setup here. It was a lot of fun having the Twitch chat and everybody hanging out with us here. So
it's fun.
Much appreciated, y'all.
Mm-hmm. All right.
All right. See you guys.
See you, Ryan.
That was
Love
fun.
that. Ryan's